Welcome, guys. This is Kelly. She is a reseller and a content creator extraordinaire. And she is on maternity leave right now. And she's trying to put some systems in place to run her reselling business when she goes back to work. And she's here to tell you guys all about that. And first off, Kelly, how are you today? It's so nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, that's a cool little mic. I like that.
I know I tried to make sure that my audio was top notch for this because we got the laundry going. So I didn't want anything getting in
Yeah.
the way of this.
That's awesome. I have a DJI mic with the little fuzzy top on it. I should use that next time. That's a good idea. All right. So, what is the main platform that you're selling on right now?
Well, Poshmark is my jam. Started on Poshmark Canada because I'm a Canadian, and then obviously saw that like I'd be foolish not to break into the US market. So I branched out into that last year around September. And yeah, like it's been great. Like it's no regrets over that.
So, do you have also a US closet as well?
Yes. So my Canadian closet is called Bold Posh Mom.
Right.
And then for my US peeps, I'm Bold Posh Mama.
Ah,
So,
nice.
similar. I wanted to kind of keep it consistent and everything. But yeah, so you can find me on there. I'm also on eBay Canada. I'm looking into going into the US market as well because of, the fact that there's just so many people out there, so much possibility for like additional income. And then I'm also on Depop, but that's a low priority.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been interviewing a lot of Canadian sellers. I think you're my third Canadian seller in a row. So,
that's awesome.
I mean, I love Canada. Canada's pretty awesome. The reselling market's just growing out there. It's really cool to see that. So you just told me all the platforms you sell on, right? That's like one, two, that's like four different platforms.
Mhm.
And you're cross-listing to all those every day, just about?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I'm currently working on matching up both my Canadian and my US closet so they have the same, you know, um, total items in them. So I'm about like I'm getting there. Originally, when I opened up my US closet, I was kind of picky about what I was putting up, but then I realized, I'm kind of slowing down the potential for people being able to browse my closet. So it's like, why don't I just make them the same and just kind of cross everything over? So it's a process, but it gets lots of consistency and uploads going in that closet. So,
Right. And you're
and
currently,
obviously it pays off. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it does. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Using the cross-listing app at the moment for that?
Yes. Yes.
So
So that's been helping me with getting everything over. The autofill helps with filling in the blanks because I mean, eBay is a little bit pickier and that can take me some time. Like when I started doing that manually, that was a bugger because it's like, I don't know what all of this means and whatever, but it's been so helpful with like even taking information from photos,
yeah.
um, and just trying and even taking information from imports from Poshmark. It
Hmm.
pulls that and finds the most related categories and everything. So it's been so helpful for streamlining all of that for me.
Would you mind telling us your gross revenue averagely
So,
every month?
so I do this on a very part-time basis. My schedule kind of revolves around my son, who's just turned 17 months. So depending on how his personality is every day, that's kind of what determines like how much I can get done. But my gross revenue is approximately around 15 to 2000,
That's great.
1500 to 2000. And yeah, that's doing very part-time work. My motto is like, work smart, not hard. So I try to find systems and processes that allow me to get the most done with the little time that I have. And I don't want to be sacrificing family time. So I'm very fortunate that like what I've got going on now is working and the fact that I want to expand and get these systems in place so that it doesn't look like I've got even less time for it when I return back to work. So,
Right. Yeah.
mm,
Processes are, see, we say it differently. I say processes, you say processes. Yeah, no, it's very important to have systems in place. Otherwise, you're just working. in your business, not on your business, right?
right. Mhm.
Inefficiencies. What category are you mainly selling in? Is it a little bit of everything or kind of here and there?
So, yeah, basically, I do everything from makeup to wigs to clothing to accessories. But what I really enjoy selling are like collectibles and vintage toys. I'm a big nostalgia lover. I love just collecting things that I used to have when I was a kid. But I found that in order to grow and grow and maintain consistent income, you've got to be able to expand into as many profitable categories as possible. So that's why I don't like niche myself down into like just clothes, because I mean, I'm not a clothes pro type person, but yeah, just expanding into different areas so that you're reaching every type of buyer on
Yeah.
those platforms.
Yeah. The clothing is way oversaturated right now. I think everybody should expand. It would be good for,
And even then, for clothing, I try to list plus size clothes because a lot of people do, the standard sizing and everything. So if I'm going to get involved and when I do find things that I want to list that are clothing related, they are going to be mainly plus size because I feel like that niche is not as represented
oh, definitely.
in Poshmark.
Definitely.
Mhm.
I mean, people are always looking for plus size. You got specialty stores here, like Big and Tall Male. I don't know what plus size stores there are for women, but Big
Mm.
and Tall Male, I know a lot of guys who shop there, and that's like the only place they could go. They can't find anything anywhere else.
Yeah, it's very limited. So, I mean, the more plus size resellers and suppliers there are out there, the easier it is for me to shop because, yeah, we don't have a lot of access to brick and mortar stores that supply those sizes
Right?
that we're looking for. So,
Yeah. Are you doing live selling right now?
so to me, time is money. And the time spent like analyzing live shows as well as having done them in the past hasn't made enough sense for me from a business and money making standpoint to do it on a regular basis. But you never know. Things could always change. I could see an opportunity in it somewhere down the road where it's beneficial. But at this point, I don't.
Do you know a lot of other Canadians that are live selling?
Oh yeah. And it's just
It's
they're
sort of like a
spending a good
circus.
like couple hours. Yeah. And it's like every day, even like
Ooh,
daily live shows. And it's like, oh man, props to you if it's working for you. But yeah, that's time I'd rather spend, with my family, getting other stuff done, making sure orders get out the door because I like doing like shipping out things within a day of receiving those orders. So yeah, my priorities are different, but who knows? Maybe when I expand, I bring on like an assistant or something down the road. Who knows? There might be an opportunity for that. But
so you're
yeah,
doing
I
silent shows at
definitely,
least? At least silent shows?
well, I like doing silent shows here and there to offload inventory that has been sitting with me for far too long. Um, and it's stuff that I don't mind discounting like by at least 50% off. So that at least it's worth checking out because I don't want to waste anyone's time with yet another boring silent show with barely any good discounts. So um, I think the summertime is when I would have like one or two running at some point just to help with the slowdown and everything. So
Mhm.
but not regularly, but they do help in a pinch.
And you
Mhm.
use Posh Sidekick for that as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
makes it easy.
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to sit there and manually. If you had to do that, you might as well just run a regular live show.
Exactly. And then the app also tells you when you've gotten notifications. So it's not like you are totally missing out on the action and what's going on within it. You're fully aware. You're made aware when, someone asks a question. So you can easily just pop in within the Posh Sidekick app and respond to those messages. So it is so helpful that I don't have to be glued to my phone for however long that live show or silent show for.
I mean, it doesn't really get easier than that. Like, what more can you
No.
ask for? I really don't. I don't.
Yeah. And you've got a ton of cover photos to choose from that really pop compared to the ones that people have kind of put together on their own. They're a little more scrappy looking.
Yeah.
But yours, you've got some creative options for different types of shows. So it's not like just here's a bunch of photos for promoting a silent show. It's just like different categories.
Hmm.
It's different like holidays and seasons and just like, you guys get down to the specifics. So there's something for everyone. So you don't have to waste that time making a cover photo yourself. And
Yeah.
they're very professionally done too.
Yeah, we wanted to get pretty granular with those things because people sell in every kind of category you could think of. So there's
Yeah.
like literally an endless amount of ideas that you can have for cover shot graphics. There's
Hmm.
everything out there. There's things for your dog. There's things for if you want to get accessories for the ants outside in your backyard. You
Yeah.
can sell anything. There's something for everyone. So what
Hmm.
is your typical day look like? If you are working on your reselling business, what are you doing during the day?
I mean, well, every day is different because of being on maternity leave, but I spend most of my available time um, editing photos, listing new items, cross-listing to Poshmark US, which is a huge job in and of itself because of the task I have of just making sure that the numbers match up on both the Canadian and US side, as well as eBay. And then I'm also like creating content about reselling and the experience that I go through, and I'm able to apply my marketing background to the challenges I face and see others facing. Then there's packaging up any orders, dropping them off after I pick up my daughter from school, doing a little bit of online sourcing with online auctions, Facebook Marketplace, even Poshmark itself has good opportunities on there as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, like just I fit all that stuff in within the pockets of time that I've got, and some days it's a little bit more, some days it's a little bit less, but
Hmm.
you just go with it.
There's no rule saying that you have to do this for this many hours every day to be successful. Like you are a mom. Um,
Mhm.
us parents who have went through it know that it is a spontaneous life when you are a parent. So I'm guessing you're taking photos in between naps and cleaning out bottles and diapers. And it's
Yes.
just that kind of circus going on. It does get intense. How do you deal with burnout? I know that wasn't one of the questions I was going to ask you, but I think
Yeah.
it's important to know when to
Yeah.
take breaks. Do you take ample amount of breaks?
Not as many as I should.
Right.
It happens, and sometimes I don't pay attention to the signals that it is about to happen. Um, so in those cases, I try to give myself some grace. I even try to make content out of it. Because when things get rough, like for instance, I shared a TikTok today about just how sometimes I have really bad days and it gets me all up in my feelings and I'm emotional. So don't compare yourself to others because, what you see online is a highlight reel. But we all need to give ourselves grace, take a step back when things get overwhelming because, at the end of the day, these are our passion projects. These are our babies, our additional babies. So, when it gets to be too much, you just got to listen to your gut, take a break, take some time for yourself. I like naps. I
Hey,
like going out for
yeah.
walks, um, and just kind of um, going into something else to distract yourself from those emotions. You can settle back down and get back into a better state of mind so that you know you go back into it with a refreshed sense of motivation and everything. But just always listen to how you're feeling and give yourself grace when you need those times to reset and take a step back for a bit. It's okay. It's completely okay. You're not made to be working 24/7. We all deserve breaks,
Yeah.
especially when you've got so much going on. You're parents, you've got multiple businesses going on.
It's like I've noticed it in my own self when I don't take breaks that it kind of takes me once I do burn out, it takes me a long time to get back on track, to get back into that headspace that I was in. So technically, if you don't take a break or give yourself time off, give yourself grace, like you said, you're only prolonging the amount of time it's going to take for you to get back on that ride,
Yeah.
get back in that mind state. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is very important. No matter what you have to do, it could be you can go outside, jump up and down on a trampoline if that makes you happy. just anything that is not what you're currently doing, because you don't want to end out
Yeah.
hating your passion.
Yeah.
Some people end out really enjoying something they're doing. It's something they've always wanted to do, but then it turns out where it's literally like the worst thing in their life because it's burnout has festered
Yeah.
and it's gotten to the point where they just don't want to do it anymore. And that's sad. It is sad.
Mhm.
But enough
Yeah.
sad talk. Let's not talk about anything sad. Okay. You're doing excellent. You obviously know what you're doing and you're strategizing your days around being a mom. So you can't ask for anything more than that. You do what you can do. And I think $2,000 a month that's amazing. Some people can't do that full time, but
Mhm.
you're doing it and you're a mom and you already have another child in school, right?
Yeah.
So, and you have a
Yeah.
job.
Mhm.
Crazy. I can't do that. I have to do like one thing at a time, especially now. But how many hours a day would you say you're spending on reselling?
So I asked my husband this last night and I was like, do you think I work like about 1 to 2 hours? He's like, no, try like four, maybe five. But it's really like you just kind of get lost in the work, especially when you enjoy it so much. So obviously those pockets of time that I have throughout the day add up.
Right.
And it's because I really enjoy it. So like I'm doing it when I wake up and I'm doing it before I go to bed. But clearly it does add up, but it doesn't feel like work. I don't feel drained at the end of the day by it. So really,
That's
I
good.
think of it as like 1 to 2 hours. My husband thinks differently, but
Hey, that means, yeah,
it works for me.
it's not a job. It's not a
Yeah.
job. It's a
No.
lifestyle. And
Yeah.
sourcing, are you in an area where you have good sourcing?
Yeah. I've got a lot of cities close by that have um more thrift stores. And even in my city that I live in, there are thrift stores that I have yet to even try out still. So there are so many opportunities for me to, make a whole weekend out of it. But I am trying to do more online sourcing because it's just easier to take that stuff off my plate. So I've got more time open to me on the weekends.
So you're using
Um,
Poshmark for that solely? You don't have to give up your sources, but
no, like there's online auctions. So I
Mhm.
discovered one really good one last summer, and I've just kind of been addicted because they start out really low, and
Yep.
I love a good deal. I will travel far for far and wide to get, my hands on something that I've just been waiting for.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and then Facebook Marketplace is also something that I'm kind of rediscovering is like a great tool because, a lot of people don't understand the value of some items that they're trying to get rid of. So it's like I'm always keeping tabs on that stuff. And just if I can, yeah, acquire something without having to physically hunt for it, it's mine and I just have to go pick it up and all of that, then, perfect.
What's cool about those auctions is you kind of have time to research the item because
Yes.
no one could just snatch it up right away. People bid on it.
Hmm.
So you have some time. You can do your market research, product research on those items and see which ones you really do want to put your max bids on. So I'm all
Hmm.
for auctions. We do estate sale auctions all the time. And yeah, I'm driving like 2, 3 hours to go pick up some of these things. So I
Hmm.
know the feeling.
But
Is
it
there?
ends up being worth it because you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
you pick up some really amazing things that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to acquire. And but yeah, no, it's a thrill. And I do get quite competitive when I'm like, okay, this thing is going to be mine.
Yep.
Uh, and then you got those last minute bidders, and you're like, no, 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 not
You
going to
end out
happen
sniping
today.
it. I know. I know it gets addictive. It really does.
Yep.
What is your dream brand or dream item to find when sourcing? Like, what is like, I'm gonna buy this brand if you find it.
Um, Personally, I'm always on a hunt for Lisa Frank stuff. I think it's just because it's a brand that I never, I wasn't personally able to have as a kid because I think it was just like way out of our price range, as a family. So that stuff is like, I think of myself first. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I could give this to someone else because I've got another copy myself. Um, and then nostalgic toys, rare Barbies, anything that's obviously still in its original packaging, mint condition. Yeah. And so at first I think, do I want it for myself to sell? Or if the sell-through rate online is amazing, then obviously I begrudgingly go and sell it and then hope I can come across another one like it at some point.
Oh man,
But
Erica's
yeah,
all about,
I love collectibles.
yeah, Erica's all about the Lisa Frank stuff. If
Ooh, love
man,
it.
it's just the room is filled with
It's
rainbows.
well, it's all about the vibe too, like where you're working. Like I want to fill up this room into like a Y2K Lisa Frank happy room where, it feels good to work in. You feel happy being in the presence of everything. So, I'm building up my collection and yeah, I've got big visions for it. But yeah, like I love Lisa Frank. It makes you feel good.
It does. It does. How much do you make per item profit wise? What is your ideal profit margin percentage wise?
My minimum has to be at least 50%. Yeah, so I am trying to work more towards at least 75%. And
Mhm.
that's why I do try to source things at a very low price, and then end up pricing them higher because, that way I can afford to offer discounts and, discounted shipping and discounts on the item itself. So,
Yes.
the other person on the other end is getting, a good deal, but it's not eating away at my bottom line. So that's that's how I do things.
So what are your favorite tools to use for product or market research?
Yeah. Well, I love Google. I love Google Lens.
Mm.
Then there's eBay. It's so easy to pop, a code in there and just see what comes up, all the information. I will use Poshmark. It's not as obviously intricate as eBay in terms of, trying to find the information you're looking for. But, I found ways to, gather some information, intel from there. And then it's basically like purely intuition and just kind of like a feeling where it's like, okay, like I feel like this is going to be a good buy. So, um,
You just
yeah,
know after a while. You just know.
yeah.
You can use Terapeak too. I'm guessing that's the eBay tool that you use, Terapeak.
That's a new one that I actually haven't really been using that much, but
Mhm.
that is another good idea to use to include in my
It gives you
arsenal.
sell-through rate. It's pretty good.
Mhm,
I recommend that. We also have that in our Seller Cave website where we use a combination of Terapeak and Poshmark's data and kind of a combined sell-through rate. But
mhm.
T Terapeak, I think, is available for everybody now. You don't need a store anymore for it. You used to just need a
Mm.
store.
No, I think that's why I wasn't using it before because I don't have a store
Right.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fairly new that they just came out
Yeah.
with this for
Mhm,
everybody. It's
mhm,
wild. It gives you
mhm,
graphs and sell-through rate for anything in any category. I'll link it to you, and I'll link it below in the video description as well for anyone who's interested. Um, what is your biggest reselling pet peeve? What drives you nuts?
oh man, how much time do you got? Um, Resellers who are only focused on the money and couldn't care less about the customer. I cannot tell you how many times, shopping on Poshmark, um, and stumbling on an item that, I've got to have. And you see that the person is Posh Ambassador 2 status. They've got all these followers, they've got an impressive selection of items in their closet, but, just a lack of keeping me updated on what's going on, especially if they don't ship out relatively soon. And then when you receive the item, it's like, come on, come on. You can spring for a couple bucks of like, some tissue paper to just kind of like protect the item or something.
It's in a Ziploc.
Yeah. And I mean it for a lot of people, it does come off in their closet presentation and how they word things in their listings, their communication style, the offers that they send out, and the way that they package and obviously like ship their sold items. And it matters to the customers how you treat them and make them feel, because at the end of the day, we want them to refer people to us and friends. We want them to become loyal return customers. So I always make it a thing to make sure that my customers feel really good about shopping with me again. So I give those incentives. I make sure that they're aware when I'm about to ship out their item. I'm not annoying with messages. I just send out one message after the order has been made that this is when it's being shipped out. So you'll expect the tracking info at this, very shortly. And it's those little things that make all the difference and make them feel like, wow, like this is a nice shopping experience. I'm going to return to this person and, um, you know, shop from them again. So, and I give discounts for future orders that they make with me, and bundle offers. I offer free gifts that are related to the item. I don't just chuck in whatever. I try to make it as um, complimentary as possible, so that it's something that they're not going to be like, ah, I don't need this. So it's just like, we're in a time where people are being more stingy with their money. And so it's more about the experience than about the item in the end, because, that's what they remember. So
Oh, I agree.
it's, yeah, it's very important to just make sure that your customer service and experience are a top priority in your business, because without the customers, you don't have anything. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
there's like, I refer to it as a spectrum of buyer. Like there's so many different things that can cause someone to be a return customer. It could be, like you said, the way you package an item, the way you price an item, the way the item smells, or the way it doesn't smell, or, you know, how quickly it got to you, or the
Mhm.
price. There's so many different things. There's a whole entire spectrum of millions of data points of why people are returning customers. So I
Mhm.
definitely feel you on the packaging thing. I've gotten items with wrapped in toilet paper.
Yeah, I saw that post you guys just made
Oh
on Instagram.
yeah,
I
crazy.
I didn't know it could go that far, even with like a diaper, but it's obviously it's been known to happen. But I mean,
If you weren't reselling right now, what would you be doing? Do you have a different kind of dream besides
uh,
reselling?
I love helping others with their marketing and social media, and obviously pairing that with reselling, because I know a lot of us out there are kind of struggling to be seen and get noticed and get more sales on a consistent basis. So I like um, being able to do that. So I think I would have a hand in reselling no matter what, because it's just, it's an easy way to make money.
Mhm.
It doesn't take a lot of costs, take a lot of money up front to get started. And a lot of people are looking for those quick and easy ways to make money from home. And I like just pushing out the message that Poshmark is a great way, reselling is a great way to just start making really good money with the stuff in your closet. Like, we are big collectors. So like that's how I got started. I just kind
Mhm.
of started offloading the things that I really didn't need anymore, weren't really my thing. So it's just, yeah, like I love just sharing the message that reselling is just an easy way to make money if you're looking for something from home that doesn't take up that much of your time.
That's right. And speaking of easy money, what is your target revenue you'd like to be at before you go back to work? Do you want to stay where you're at now, or would you like it to be a little more, or is it just right for you?
I mean, obviously maintaining where I am for sure. If I could maintain a minimum of like 2,000 gross profit every month, that would be great. If I could get to even like 3,000, that would be, oof, that would be the cherry on the cake, because, I am returning to a job that I'm not really psyched about. So, anything that I can do to kind of, make it not so stressful and something I could possibly quit one day. Um, but yeah,
You
like
can do
I'm
it.
content. Yeah, yeah, I would love to be able to see if I could achieve it on a part-time basis, because I've got, other things going on that like I would like to be able to focus on as well. So I mean, you
Mhm.
never know, right?
You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. No, just try to get to what you're making now at your job and
Yeah.
slowly start making that decision. But,
Hmm.
who knows what's going to happen in the future? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Something cool can fall in your lap.
Hmm.
That's the cool part about life. It's unexpected. And
Mhm.
so your current strategy to put the systems in place so you can go back to work is using automation software, or do you have any other systems that you use?
I mean, I've got my digital planner, I've got my physical planner, so there's a lot of scheduling and batching involved. Um, so obviously it's a lot of planning in advance. Like I am not really a type A type of person. I like having a free flowing day where, so, if something changes, I can just adapt. But I know that I have to
Yes.
tweak that a bit in order to stay consistent, and make sure that the business keeps running properly as it is right now. So, like I said earlier, hiring like a local VA to help me out during the summer, to maximize productivity and stuff that I don't really want to do anymore. But tools like CCO and my auctions and even the promoted listings within Posh Sidekick, because we don't have the Poshmark promoted closet feature here yet. Those tools also help with just making sure that, like, I've got fun things to kind of spark interest in buyers into, as well as like return buyers as well. So it's just about having like lots of drafts uploaded and ready to be listed on Crosslisting app, and just stretching myself in ways that make me feel uncomfortable, but for the sake of seeing those results that I want to see happen.
That's awesome. Um, so it's been really an awesome interview. You've given so much value, actually. Do you have any tips for the people who are struggling right now? Like, there's a lot of people struggling to
Yeah.
make ends meet. They're saying that their sales are slow or they have no sales. What's your best advice for beginners who are feeling kind of defeated?
Well, I mean, we're going through a recession right now. Inflation is crazy, especially here in Canada. Oh man, I hate going to a grocery store sometimes because you're like, wow, um, yeah, that's how much we're going to spend on eggs today, huh? But I my best tip would be to think outside of the box and test different strategies to find out what's working, what would work for you, because things are always changing. Buying habits and customer wants and needs are changing. So being able to adapt and reconfigure your approach. And that's why I like sharing my marketing and sales tips and strategies that I'm working through, because it could really be effective to someone else. And I'm not about gatekeeping information. So it's about being open to trying different angles to bring in more sales, stand out a bit more on Poshmark, because yeah, more and more people are going and setting up closets for themselves because times are tough, and we need to make a little bit of extra money to get through every month and pay our bills and everything. So um, yeah, just don't be so rigid with your your methods, and it's there's no fear or harm in just trying something different, trying a different approach, and being flexible, because people that are flexible and can easily adapt will see the biggest and the best growth for themselves.
Right? Raising the bar. When you raise the bar, you have to adapt to get to that higher plane of existence. I mean, everybody should try to at least do something different, challenge yourself in a way, do something out of the norm. It's good. It's a good thing to stimulate. That stimulates growth. It's proven time and time again.
Mhm.
Bruce Lee said, if water gets poured into a cup, it takes the form of the cup. So be like water.
Mhm.
I'm gonna edit that out because that was kind of cheesy. But yeah, Kelly, this was awesome. Thank you so much for the interview. We
Thank
look
you for
forward
having me.
to, yeah, we look forward to having you back in maybe a month or two and see where you're at, especially when you go back to work. We want to find out how those systems are treating you.
Yeah, and see how crazy I get with everything that's going on all at once.
Well,
That'll be
hopefully
fun.
there'll be a system for
Yeah, no.
everything that you do.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you so much, and we will check back in with you. Thank you, Kelly.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.